welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you guys how to make and apply metallic water slide. I just recently discovered metallic water slide. I absolutely love it for intricate designs instead of dealing with metallic vinyl. So I hope you guys love it too. And I will also be using glitters from the collab box with Holly Mastella and CC DIY. So the cup that I am using is a 20-ounce standard from Griffin Blanks. I will be listing all materials below in the description. I used aged gray chalked ultra matte spray paint. Now the cup was already sprayed for a different project, and then I changed my mind and wanted to do this project with it. So I just sprayed it again with the aged gray to make sure it was fully covered before I epoxied it. So this is it, fully covered. Once the spray paint is completely dry is when we can go ahead and move on to the glitter portion. So I did not glitter the entire cup. I mixed about 5 milliliters, so 2.5 of part A and 2.5 of part B, and I used CC DIY's Ultra Clear Fast Set Epoxy. I probably only used about 1 milliliter to 2 on the entire cup before glittering it because I was glittering other cups with this epoxy. So you make sure you spread it on and make sure it's a nice and thin layer, as we aren't doing the entire cup, so I don't want that glitter spreading to parts of the cup where I do not want glitter. So after you apply your epoxy, you are going to apply your glitter. I'm using Amory, which was in the collab box with Holly Mastella and CC DIY. It's a holographic silver chunky mix, and it has some heart shapes in it, and I've been wanting to use it, so I was super excited. I covered the bottom rim with the chunky glitter, and then I went ahead and grabbed Autumn Breeze, which is a finer cut holographic silver mix that was also in the collab box. I covered the bottom of the cup with it. That way I didn't have to add extra layers of epoxy to try and make sure it was smooth. So I just added that fine cut at the bottom. And then I held my cup at probably like a 45-degree angle and just slightly tapped that chunky glitter so that it kind of waterfalled down my cup without covering the entire cup. So I just wanted a little bit of glitter in this cup because I will be using a holographic metallic for the design at the top. I then took the fine cut glitter and did the same exact thing and just slowly tapped it all the way around until I was happy with how much glitter was on there. You can use your finger or some wax or parchment paper to tap down the chunky glitter to make it a little bit more smoother so that you don't have to have as many layers of epoxy until you have a smooth finish. Now you can seal the glitter with Quick Coat from CC DIY, clear spray paint. I did not seal it, I just added the epoxy starting from the top and then moved my way down to the glitter portion at the bottom. You'll add this layer of epoxy after your original layer is completely cured. And for this layer, I used about 20 to 30 milliliters of epoxy. I like to prep my Waterslide sheets in Canva so that I can utilize the entire paper without wasting anything. The paper that I used for this project is the Sunny Scopa brand, and it is their metallic Waterslide decal paper. It comes with the Waterslide paper and the foil that goes with it, which comes in these colors. In order to do metallic Waterslide, you have to have a laser jet printer. Your settings are going to vary for whatever printer that you have. I did a heavy glossy paper setting, and I manually fed the paper into the machine. It's also best if you just print in black and white. Once you have your design printed, you are going to take the foil that comes with the paper from Sunny Scopa, and they have instructions as to glue it to the top. I just used some heat tape to tape it to the top because that was just easier for me. So in the process of doing this, I tested out a few different methods. I used parchment paper. I tried it with deco foil. The process I'm showing you here, I used the gold foil, but for the cup that I made in this video, I did use the holographic foil prior to filming this. I just wanted to test everything out before I filmed it. Now, another piece of equipment that you will need in order to make these is a laminating machine. I've seen a lot of people recommend the Amazon Basics laminating machine. I am probably going to buy that soon because the Scotch machine doesn't do the best work, but honestly, it's not terrible either. It gets the job done. I just feel like the heat doesn't get high enough for some of this foil at times. So once I was done taping all of the edges, it was time to put it through the machine. Now you want to make sure the machine is already preheated and ready to go. I put it in face down at first because the tape kind of bent the paper a little bit, so that was just easier. So once it went through once, I went ahead and flipped it over and put it through again, and then I checked it. When I checked it, I noticed that it wasn't fully adhered to the design, which you'll see here, and because of that, I decided to put it through a few more times until it was ready to be applied to the cup. Once it's time to fully take off the foil, you want to do it a little bit slowly because sometimes it may not be completely adhered to one of the designs. So this isn't going to be perfect. This is almost going to have like an antique-y look at some parts because sometimes the foil doesn't adhere all the way to the design. So here are all the designs with the gold foil. I did do the holographic, this is the one we will be using, which I love. I didn't end up putting the holographic on a whole sheet. I just cut out the piece that I wanted. And then this is the deco foil. So the deco foil that can go on like screen printed shirts didn't turn out as well as I thought, but I might try a few different ways to do it. So now we are applying this Waterslide to the cup. You'll want to have room temperature water, and you're going to want to wet the spot that you are going to apply the decal. With these metallic water slides, I noticed that you'll start to see the design coming up when it's ready. So once you do that, it slides off so easy onto the cup and it's ready to go. So I used my finger, which is typically what I do to smooth out the bumps, but then I did end up grabbing a silicone brush, dipping it in the water, and then brushing it out to make sure all the water underneath was gone, there was no air bubbles, and that it was completely smooth and ready to start drying. You have to be very gentle with water slides as they can break pretty easily. I was being super cautious with this metallic because I wasn't really sure how durable it was going to be. But it did hold up fairly well, so I was pretty impressed. And I thought the design looked great versus having to use holographic vinyl and weed it and cut it and everything else. So it's really which one is the lesser of two evils for you, Waterslide or weeding metallic vinyl. Once it was completely smooth, I just took a folded up piece of paper towel and pat it a little bit to try and dry it a little faster. Now you don't have to do this. You can just let it air dry on its own, and once it's completely dry, you can epoxy it. I was being very impatient and decided to try and hurry up the drying process. Once this part was done, I went ahead and sanded the bottom rim of the cup and then sanded out any bumps. Make sure that you do not sand over the Waterslide decal, or else you will mess it up unless there is a layer of epoxy over it. So I was just very careful and sanded the bottom rim, and then I applied my final layers of epoxy, and then that was it. It was super easy. I really like how it turned out, and I'm really excited to make more designs with this metallic vinyl. Also, a reminder to make sure that your water slide is completely dry before you add that layer of epoxy over top of it. I can't tell you how many times I thought the water slide was dry and I accidentally ended up pushing the design, crinkling it, and then having to start over, pull up the design, wait for the epoxy to dry so that I could reapply a new design. But other than that, that was it. This cup was fairly simple. It was pretty quick to do, and I really, really, really like this metallic vinyl. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the little notification bar to find out when I post videos. And I will see you guys next time.